Alright. Shatter Skull Smashing is not likely to get played as a spell here, but we don't need to be in a hurry to play it, unless we want to avoid shocking ourselves, which possibly we do. We have Mind Stone on 2 and Illyrios on 3. I guess I can play Shatter Skull Smashing on turn 3 as a tap land, if needs be, which means that I can get away with playing islands for the first 2 turns. And then if we do get lucky and draw mountains, then I can just still have the Shatter Skull Smashing in hand. And it looks like we're getting there, so that's nice. Okay, got there. That was easier than expected. Opponent is doing a lot of playing lands and not a lot of anything else. Very well. So I'm probably just supposed to kill the Wayward Swordtooth before they can do other nonsense combos with it, I think. Illyrios doesn't seem too valuable here. And we can bounce something with multiple choice next turn then. Especially if they only play one creature, we'll be in a good spot. Creature that bounces, they choose, right? I like playing a lot of lands and not doing a lot of anything else. But only if it's not doing anything else at sorcery speed. I do like doing thing else's at instant speed. My opponent plays Vraska. Multiple choice does not bounce Vraskas. Shatter Skull Smashing Vraska doesn't sound like a good choice. Do I just play multiple choice to make a 4/4 and draw a card? Is that good? I guess I scry one. It's kind of okay. I don't think so. I think I just play Illyrios and pass. They can't really downtick on my Vraska very happily because then I crack... They can't really downtick Vraska on my Mind Stone very happily because then I crack it and draw a card. So that probably encourages them to not do that line, which is fine by me because I keep my mana. Downticking on either the Illyrios or the token, not very exciting. So they don't have super great options here. Ideally for us, they just play a big creature. Rankle counts as just a big creature. So what you gonna do with the Rankle then, opponent? Because none of your options are great. Or at least there isn't any options that really break parity here. They definitely don't want to sacrifice their Rankle and only kill my Illyrios. I don't care if they make me discard because I have extra lands. If they make me draw a card, I'm fine because I have more mana than them. Okie dokie. I will happily draw a card. So now we can just multiple choice. If they want to downtick Vraska on either of my creatures, I'm happy with that. Honestly, I kind of think the best thing they can do might be to downtick on the Mind Stone and just accept their Vraska's going away. But yeah, they did miss a land. I kind of wondered if that was what was happening. So we get to punch a Vraska. We get to multiple choice, inconvenience a Rankle, scry a land away. You love to see it. Draw a Disdainful Stroke. Less great. You, opponent, pick up your Rankle, and I make a 4/4. Not being able to hold a Disdainful Stroke is sad, but I would say that the current situation is decent. The Rankle still doesn't really get to do anything. Even if the Vraska downticks on the 4-4, 3-2 is capable of killing it. If they play Rankle as a blocker, we can kill the Rankle with Shatter Skull Smashing, and could also choose to kill the Vraska, or we could hold up Disdainful Stroke. I assume I'd probably hold up Disdainful Stroke, because I don't have any other answers to a big thing. They didn't play anything out for the first couple of turns, so it's not super likely we're going to get too much value out of this Crush the Weak at any point. They play a Rankle. I assume that wants to stay back on defense. Doesn't have any good mode if it attacks. No? Okay, it attacks. I'm pretty fine here with literally any of the modes they could choose. I'm super happy to draw cards. Well, okay, you know what? I was wrong. It is actually good for them to draw cards if they're missing their land drops. It was false of me to state that Rankle doesn't really have any good modes. However, Double Visions is a very cool card to draw. With Consider, that's even card advantage. But definitely prefer to hold up Disdainful Stroke if possible, so we shall do that. Turns Crush the Weak into a viable removal spell for Rankle. Layer of the Hydra could attack as a 4-4. It can put us down to 4 here, which is actually a little concerning. Not card advantage yet? No? With Consider, it's a 2 for 2. Oh, right. Okay, because the Double Vision is a card. Fair. 2-color decks and cube. I perhaps almost certainly don't draft lands aggressively enough. So I usually end up in 2-color decks. Or 1-color decks so far. I think the 3-color deck we drafted has been the worst performing. Alright, we draw a card. It's a land. Not terribly exciting. Drawing Mizzix's Mastery, currently not too exciting, since both of our X spells don't do a lot if they're cast for X equals 0. More lands for the opponent. More ramp for the opponent. Alright, scary. And of course, Mizzix's Mastery is the card that's on top. No, we keep it. We can at least copy Consider, and maybe we'll put a really cool card in the graveyard with Consider, like Lightning Strike. Excellent. Excellent, 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 excellent. Probably. Alright, let's kill the Rankle. I'm tired of taking damage in the air. Now I get to pass with some removal spells up. I do still need to, like, actually answer the Lair of the Hydra, which is kind of a concern. I don't really have an easy way to do that. I guess technically there was Lightning Strike, but what were the odds that we would have found that? Perhaps I got a little blinded by Mizzix's Mastery. Well, probably cracking Mind Stone now. With the number of cards in the opponent's hand and that they were missing land drops earlier in the game, I do think it's kind of unlikely that they would animate Lair of the Hydra here. There's probably big scary things in their hand that they are more tempted to play. Like big 6/6 hasters. Double Vision is only the first instant or sorcery. Got it. So it doesn't go absolutely insane with Mizzix's Mastery, unfortunately. I would like to draw a card. Gold Steel Heart, okay. It's not really what I wanted my Mind Stone to turn into, but you make do. So I can currently Mizzix's Mastery as a consider. That seems not good. We may be losing this game because I don't actually have any win cons. Well, I have 2 onboard chump blocks for Lair of the Hydra. That's some redraws. Could cycle this Neutralize, but considering none of my other cards are instant speed, that's risky. I would like to find Magma Opus. That would be ideal. I'm going to go with Shieldred as a card I don't want to have resolve. Crush is unfortunately sorcery speed, so we're not really going to be able to do anything to the Lair with it. Alright, deck. I need my Magma Opus or my Leer. Nope. Okay. Getting very close to the point at which I just have to Mizzix's Mastery for Consider and cry. I think we are at the point at which I just have to Mizzix's Mastery for Consider and cry. I have literally no other spells that I can get back with Mizzix's Mastery. Yep, okay. I don't want to exile any of the other cards, so we're going to fizzle our Mizzix's Mastery. Bubble Snare. That's a no. That's a land. Alright. Good talk, team. Well, the opponent's earlier plan of do nothing and then only play big, expensive, scary things has gotten to the point where it is expensive and scary. Yep, that is how Double Vision works, opponent. I do have to copy the Mizzix's Mastery and don't get to copy the card draw spell. You know, I'd even take Hieroglyphic Illumination right now. I would not hate a draw 4. Planor Visionary. Okay, that's not technically them animating Lair of the Hydra, so that's cool. Professor Onyx is actually not the scariest thing in the world, because I can Shatter Skull Smashing that. Let's see, how much do I have to do Shatter Skull for to kill that? 4? Yeah, I can do X equals 4 and split it between 3 at Onyx, 1 at Visionary, and then the copy kills both. Okie dokie. That buys us time. Ooh, Magma Quake is an answer to Lair of the Hydra. You do indeed love to see it. Okay, 4, here, here, 3, submit. Okay, I get to re-choose again? Yeah, submit. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you do, but it acted like it was going to let me. You have to choose the same number of targets. I don't Do you have to choose the same distribution? You do have to choose the same distribution, but you may move the targets around. Huh. So that makes the interface kind of concerning there, because it did not actually show me which was which. Oh, but yeah, because I could choose between the two, it didn't really matter which order I picked in, because I could have chosen between two legal choices when I got to the damage distribution phase. Right. Okay, Finale of Devastation. Cool. Oh, from the graveyard. Neat. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. Concerning. But I suppose fine. Sacrifice Illyrios, have our blocker, have Leer, but I'm going to Magma Quake this turn. Well, I guess I don't need to Magma Quake if I have Leer, do I? Alright. Alright, deck. I see what you're doing here. We're going to Lava Coil the Shieldred, I think. No, Thundering Rebuke the Shieldred. And then have Lightning Helix up for the Lair of the Hydra. Alright. Now we're playing Magic the Gathering. Could also choose to multiple choice twice. It taps me out but makes... Oh. Huh. I don't really get to do anything fun here, do I? Guess I can Lightning Strike the Paradise Druid. Probably should. Alright, opponent. Infernal Grasp resolves and stuff. I can't counter it because the Leer is in play, and Leer gives all spells, including the opponent's, can't be countered. Well, please don't have a removal spell for the 3-2 opponent. Hopefully the Infernal Grasp was enough. I guess they have to have like a 1-mana removal spell in order to kill us, because they have to spend, what, 10 of their lands animating and attacking with Lair of the Hydra? Yeah, only leaves them with a single green. So if they have a fight spell that costs a single green, we lose. 9/9 Lair of the Hydra, yes. You have achieved chump block, opponent. We can do 10 damage to their face. Almost good. Not quite good, but almost good. Magma Quake, you definitely do hit... Yes, you do hit Lair of the Hydra. Lair of the Hydra gets big. Lair of the Hydra attack. Can I just do this straight up for... Yeah. We'll just do 18 damage to the opponent. Or, well, to the opponent's land. I wish I could do 18 damage to the opponent. I can only deal 10, but... We have at last drawn Magma Opus, and 10 plus 16 is more than 14, I think. Voracious Hydra, extremely big. So big, in fact. Just, like, absolutely monstrous. Boom, 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 boom. This is what we play Magic the Gathering for. How many cards do I have in my deck? 6? Cool. I can draw a card. There's all the good cards. Alright. 5 damage at the opponent's face. 5 damage at the opponent's face. Alright. Satisfying. It took a little bit to get there, but we did. Alright, we'll keep this since we're on the play. The 8th is Saturday? Okay, so it starts Saturday and runs into Sunday. We get to go Mind Stone into Thassa's Intervention. That seems pretty decent. Hopefully we get to draw 2, but if needs be, we have a counterspell version of it. Magda? That's kind of horrifying. I don't have a removal spell somehow, even though my deck is almost entirely removal spells. What am I supposed to do about a Magda? Alright, Aethersphere Harvester is not scary enough for me to want to counterspell, so I suppose I should be grateful for that. I would like to find removal spells, or better counterspells than Thassa's Intervention. Lightning Strike is a removal spell. More or less. Well... okay. You know what? New plan. Who needs Lightning Strike to be a removal spell when we can Magma Opus as a removal spell? I like this plan better, personally. It involves drawing more cards, and that makes it a better plan. The unfortunate part is that this plan did involve me exiling Magma Opus, and that's fairly sad. But with Double Vision and Lightning Strike, I guess the opponent has 6 points of life gain with Aethersphere Harvester, but we're like weirdly close to possibly burning them out with a top deck Lava Axe. Torbran is not a very good target for Bubble Snare, unfortunately, and is not vulnerable to a single Lightning Strike. It does, in fact, take 2 Lightning Strikes to kill Torbran. Well, I guess instead of playing Double Visions, we could Perforos the Torbran. But why would I Perforos' Intervention the Torbran when I could instead double Perforos' Intervention Fireball my opponent's face? Besides, what's Torbran gonna do if it's tapped, right? Can't even crew an Aethersphere Harvester if it's tapped. There's no possible way this could have any negative repercussions on me. How much do I get to Perforos' Intervention for? 6? So currently 12 damage, huh? Which won't really be lethal if my opponent has the ability to play anything and attack with Aethersphere Harvester, because they give it lifelink. Yes, everybody knows that text that's slightly sideways doesn't count. Okay, the fact that my opponent can steal my 4/4 is a little concerning. I'm moderately annoyed by the fact that my opponent's playing a bunch of red creatures after their Torbran. That doesn't really feel sporting. Oh. I really want to use Perforos's Intervention to hit my opponent's face. It's by far and away the most entertaining way this could go. I could just use Lightning Strike to remove their creatures. I'm going to just use Lightning Strike to remove their creatures. I believe in Perforos's Intervention's ability to completely kill my opponent's entire life total all in one go. They're out of life gain with Aethersphere Harvester, at least. If they can only play one creature, then they don't have any blockers. Wait, do these have trample? They do have trample. Okay, that's something. So Siege Gang Commander definitely kills me with a Torbran in play. But do I have lethal? Opponent has 3 toughness, 18. So I need to cast it for X equals 9. I can cast it for X equals 7. That's disappointing. Alright, let's crack Mindstone then and see what we got. I guess I should have done that in response to the Siege Gang in case we hit the counterspell. That's fair, that's fair. That's the sign that I should be going to bed. Cycling. Okay, Hieroglyph Illumination's fun. We do end up having to use Perforos's Intervention in a way that is decidedly unfun and not killing the opponent. Do we swing with the 4/4? No. Without that burn spell, now I have to play around outlasting this Aethersphere Harvester somehow. I guess drawing Leer would probably be good at this point. We're going to draw 4. We've already used the Lightning Strike, which was one clean answer to the Harvester, unfortunately. Does the opponent attack with goblins? No. So we go down to 6. Hawks of Agonis. One bad misplay can let the game really spiral out of control, huh? Oh my, weaponize the monsters is a little scary here. Alrighty. I'm gonna need a board wipe. Crush the Weak would be lovely. Royal Eruption. Not gonna be good. Only lands. Also not gonna be good. Currently the opponent has lethal, and that's concerning. If they take the 4, they're 1 point off dead. If they block, do we have a chance? I think if they block, we have a chance. Then I can Royal Eruption 2 goblins away, put them to... Oh no, because they can sack Harvester. And that still kills me. Alright, well... I need some kind of answer that I don't see yet. Land is not that answer. Ouch. A painful loss. Alright. Only option is to hope that the opponent misses it. But they didn't block. I guess attacking before Jace made it more likely they blocked? Probably not. I don't think they played around our 10 damage, one way or the other. Oh, if we had found Magma Quake, would that be good enough? Do I have anything for 1 mana that's relevant here? I don't think so. I strongly suspect the opponent's not going to miss any of this, but that's our out now. Probably be bluffing full control. Yeah, the opponent's probably going to see that they have a card they put in their deck. So I don't like my odds here. Super Shot. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Yeah. Whew, brutal. Goes a long way to show that there are a lot of times where being able to think about a 1% or I guess what in that case, like a 4% edge a tiny bit faster is the difference between winning and losing a game sometimes. Now, we're probably going to have to ship this. This hand, I mean, Magma Opus is nice, but it's not a card that we love to have in our opener, as long as we don't have Mizzix's Mastery anyway. But the other cards in our hand are not stellar, and also we can't cast them, which is not where you want your not stellar cards to be. Here, we're definitely keeping this. What are we shipping? I've got a feeling that we should probably get rid of the double vision here. But I don't know how much we need the double vision to go over the top in the long run. I'm expecting that Thassa's Intervention is probably going to be a counterspell. But maybe we'll get to the point where we can use Thassa's Intervention as a draw too, and then we kind of undo the fact that we mulliganed. Sort of. I can pretend that. I think I'm playing the Shatterskull Smashing as a land. I'm kind of low on resources. I'm not likely to get a 2-for-1 with it anytime soon. And the existence of Magma Opus makes me pretty happy to make more land drops. Except, if we top deck that Mizzix's Mastery like we just did, then I think that changes the plan rather entirely. And I'm pretty happy to just cycle this Magma Opus, kill a Llanowar Elf, or, well, a Llanowar Visionary, and draw a bunch of extra cards. This, to me, seems like it probably undoes the awkwardness of having mulliganed. Killing a Llanowar Visionary since it drew a card isn't entirely, like, actually killing a creature, but I think that more or less gets us to parity. Spent 2 cards, drew 2 cards, put a 4/4 into play, remove the opponent's creature. Yeah. I'd say that counts. Royal Eruption for 7 mana does 5 damage to the opponent's face. We have a very strange amount of burn spells currently. Do I care about my opponent having a Volo? Elf, Druid, Human, and Wizard. It's a trigger on cast. I feel like Volo's hard to enable, but can I take that risk? Should I just be countering this? I should probably just be countering this. I don't want to have something very scary get played next turn and regret not having countered it, even if I believe that it probably doesn't have a huge number of targets. Depending on what the opponent plays this turn, we can get them pretty close to burn range with Perforos's Intervention. Kogla. And it fights my 4/4. Rude. And I can't Perforos's Intervention into that, and I can't kick Royal Eruption this turn, which means I'm 2 turns away from killing the opponent. Next turn, my opponent gets to cast Beanstalk Giant, puts me to 4. I'm kind of going to die currently, and I can't really do anything about that. Alright. Then I guess I'm killing the Kogla. There's no way around the fact that I cannot take the damage from that Kogla and the Beanstalk Giant. We're wondering if we're still supposed to be forcing aggro. So far, control has felt awkward. Although maybe that's because I'm playing so many tiny control threats. Oh wow, if all they were going to do is play Tezzeret instead of the Beanstalk Giant, then I could have totally held on. Well, multiple choice is a really good draw. I'm happy with that. We get to bounce a Thopter isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but scrying, drawing a card, and no, I don't think we want neutralize. And making a 4/4 is happy. Meanwhile, Lear is cool. Should I Royal Eruption their face here to put them down to 7? Does that make my life easier with Royal Eruption? I think it does. Or should I hold Royal Eruption and kick it? Royal Eruption face plus 4/4 hitting face plus Lear Royal Eruption face is lethal. I'm gonna go with no. I think there's a chance that my line might end up being Royal Eruption face kicked, Lear, Royal Eruption face kicked again. At the end of the day, isn't any event, any deck that makes the opponent 0 a form of aggro. Sort of, but I can tell you that there's a lot of difference in the number of 1-mana creatures played. I built a pretty nutty blue-white deck that I'm currently 3-0 with. I think I ended up getting kind of lucky with how it turned out, but the deck's been fun to play. The thing I've struggled with while trying to build control decks is having a sort of difficult time finding good removal and card advantage. it has felt like I have been either stuck with one or the other, but that might be a flaw in how I've been prioritizing things. So if I play a Leer, I have 3 mana to work with. It does not give me a good multiple choice. Wait, what happened to... Oh, Mizzix's Mastery exiles itself. I see. Do you ultimate at 9? Okay. I'm not sure I have a way around the fact that my best line is to just Royal Eruption my opponent's face twice. But I don't know if that means that I should play Leer now? Do I want to attack with this 4/4? The opponent chump blocks with Champion of Wits. Am I okay with them chump blocking with Champion of Wits? I might be okay with that. If they double block Champion of Wits, Puppet Stitcher, I think I'm okay with that trade too. Okay. Now, are we doing a Leer play, or am I just Royal Eruptioning face? I think I'm playing Leer. And then I'm probably drawing 1 card with Thassa's Intervention. I want to have Leer in play so that I can Purphoros' Intervention for 8. My life total's still pretty stable. If an 8/8 Trample Haster manages to push through enough damage to make Royal Eruption lethal on a future turn, I think that I've got the life total to try to go for that line. I wonder if the opponent forgets that Leer stops things from being countered and tries to play around Thassa's Intervention. I think the thing that would make me happiest here is still if they just... they finally play the Beanstalk Giant. The thing that I've been wanting them to not do for a number of turns now. Alright, that does make my life pretty hard. Ooh, Hieroglyphic Illumination. Okay. So, Purphoros' Intervention for 8. Attack with everything. Opponent blocks Beanstalk on Leer, chump blocks the 4/4, takes 8. I would die if my opponent has any Time Walk. Am I okay with that? Assuming that it's kind of difficult for my opponent to remove Leer, which might be the case, it could be that I'm better off just going for Royal Eruption face. But that leaves me in a very, very rough spot otherwise. I don't believe that I'm supposed to play around the Time Walk. Noticed a little late there that I had 0 time banks remaining. I wonder if... Did I have a line there with not attacking with Leer and holding that back as a blocker? If I chump block the Beanstalk Giant, then I might not be dead to a Time Walk? That's a possibility. No Time Walk. You love to see it. Okay. Let's start with Hieroglyphic Illumination, because we do have counterspells in our deck we could theoretically draw here. We do not draw those. Alright. Then we Royal Eruption our opponent's face. See what happens. We're in a pretty fair amount of trouble if this doesn't resolve, because I don't really have much in the way of fallback plans, having lost the Leer. A Hullbreaker Horror, do they have a 1-drop? They do. This is a continuation of last night, yes. Oh wait, this doesn't do it, because Hullbreaker Horror isn't a counterspell, it's a bounce spell. Oh, I'm glad I didn't cast the Jace first. Oh, yay for getting rewarded for not thinking about the correct play, but accidentally making it without considering anything else. Okay. We got a Planeswalker that draws cards and 2 removal spells. Thraben Inspector to start off with our opponents. That isn't a huge threat on its own, but does indicate that the opponent's probably playing an aggressive deck. And they put a counter on Thraben Inspector. I do have to answer that. Magma Quake's cool to have if I was on the play. As it stands, I don't think I can let this Luminarch Aspirant sit and play and hope that Magma Quake takes care of it. It's likely to start growing itself at this point. Rem, you make all my burn spells bad, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm definitely not Thundering Rebuking anything other than Rem. Can I afford to play Midnight Clock, or do I need to Thundering Rebuke Rem? I think I want to Thundering Rebuke Rem, and I'm probably cycling this Hieroglyphic Illumination to try to hit my 4th land. And if I do that, I can play Midnight Clock, which starts to get me up to a lot of mana for Magma Quake. If I don't do that, I can still play Midnight Clock, but Magma Quake is a little worse. Unlikely that we have enough time to develop a Jace. The opponent's probably playing a threat here. If they're not playing a threat here, then I'd be really surprised. Dragonkin Berserker. Okay, it's something that gets hurt by Magma Quake. Although... costs 5 to boast, huh? Cool, Bubble Snare. Reduced by 1 for each dragon you control. So if the opponent hits a 5th land, which they're about to use the clue, it's kind of likely that they hit that 5th land, then they get to make a dragon token. I suspect I'm supposed to be okay with that because now I can use Bubble Snare to answer the dragon token. Magma Quake, not an answer to the dragon token because it doesn't hit flyers. So we're going to hope very strongly that the opponent's line isn't just activating Dragonkin Berserker here. There's the 5th land. There's the Activate Dragonkin Berserker. Okay. Hopefully hitting an untapped land. I guess I could cycle Magma Opus to be guaranteed to have a land for this Magma Quake. Bubble Snare line? Is that worth losing the Magma Opus to me? I need 3 lands. I think that has to be worth it to me, because I don't think I'm going to get to the point where I can hardcast that Magma Opus. We hit the land. I'm going to go to 4 off of this. That's really not fun. Hold on to Magma Quake, because the opponent might play something with haste. They choose not to. I guess if I missed this land, I could have still just Magma Quaked for 3 and then played Bubble Snare the following turn. I forgot that the 1-mana Bubble Snare doesn't tap on its own. Alright, we're at 4. Opponent's got 3 cards in hand in an aggro deck. All of this, I'm sure, is totally, completely fine. Nothing bad possibly gonna happen to me at all.
This is all just an illusion.
Ooh. Mizzix's Mastery, a little painful to lose. Alright, no possibility of burn spells in the opponent's red deck, so I should be totally fine. Jace, do you have any ability to do anything other than uptick? No. You have an ultimate. That's it. Totally fine. No problems here whatsoever. Alright, somehow opponent didn't kill me there. That's more than I was expecting. Are you just completely flooding out opponent? Because that'd be cool. No. Okay. They just had lethal and were waiting for it. Sure. Okay. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. But I really do keep feeling like a lot of my removal options have sucked anytime I've tried to play a control deck. Like, I'm playing Bubble Snare and Lightning Strike and Crush the Weak. That's just not good. Yes, we will be doing more cube after this. We do have to keep this. It has lands and spells, even if I'm pretty convinced that these spells aren't actually good. Multiple choice is fine. It's the rest that are questionable. Okay, Thassa's Intervention is nice. I think I'd rather foretell Crush the Weak than hold up Lightning Strike. If my opponent does play a 2-drop aggressive creature, then, I mean, having Crush the Weak is still probably good. My opponent plays a Magda, huh? Do I Crush the Weak that? Do I Lightning Strike it? I think I'm playing Shatterskull Smashing as my land here, because I probably want to play Thassa's Intervention as a draw too, most likely. I guess that means I'm probably casting Crush the Weak. I'm still not convinced that 2 damage actually answers much in the grand scheme of things, so I'd rather keep the Lightning Strike. Reckless Stormseeker is a card that I'm much happier to hit with Lightning Strike than Crush the Weak. That qualifies. Bowl Snare, not a good answer to Reckless Stormseeker. Forgetting that Stormcharge Slasher transforms if I don't Lightning Strike it at sorcery speed. Also a bad answer to Stormcharge Slasher. That's a problem because I really wanted a multiple choice. Okay. Yeah, Dauntless Bodyguard resolves. Hopefully they don't have more creatures? Is that a punt? Do I know how day-night mechanics work? Because if I don't know how day-night mechanics work and I've never seen that before, then it's not a punt. Alright, let's Lightning Strike this Dauntless Bodyguard. If the opponent doesn't play another creature, then our multiple choice is fairly clean against the Stormseeker. Unfortunately, they have History of Benalia, which does count as a creature. That's going to be a problem. Two spells in a turn, though. We like that. So we get to bounce a Night token, try to draw into Magma Opus to work with this Mystics' Mastery, and we get a 4/4. And the 4/4 bit is very nice. They bounce the Reckless Stormseeker, huh? Okay. Is their plan then to just replay that? Because the Night token I'm not terribly worried about. Brutal Cathar, okay. Huh. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised they kept the Night token in that case. I guess the idea is to have the History of Benalia trigger for it. But luckily for us, Mystics' Mastery on Crush the Weak is pretty nice, somehow. I'm a little surprised by that, but it is pretty nice. It's too bad Adonto Vanguard doesn't tap itself, because that would make this Bubble Snare a lot better. But we are definitely Bubble Snaring the Adonto Vanguard, so it only gets one attack in. That's kind of like tempo. Reckless Stormseeker, Luminarch Aspirant. I'm assuming the Aspirant puts counters on itself. Ooh, it puts it on the Stormseeker instead. That's even better. I believe I'm 1 minute short of Double Vision into Perforos to kill the Stormseeker. I could cast Perforos' Intervention twice for 0 damage, but that's not really helpful. So instead, we're going to deal twice X damage, where X is 2 to the Stormseeker. And we're going to hold up Thassa's Intervention for 1. And we're going to hope the opponent plays a 5-drop or a land and nothing else. And then we're also going to hope that their next draw is bad, so that we have time to play this Double Vision, or that we top deck removal spells. Okay, opponent played nothing. That's kind of alright. I think I need to draw 5, or draw from the top 5 with Thassa's Intervention, rather than play Double Vision here. I don't really have the time to do anything else, and I'm going to need an answer to the Luminarch Aspirant that represents being a 3/3. We're also pretty dead to a burn spell, but what can you do? You can die to a burn spell, actually. Opponent decides to go all in on Luminarch Aspirant, which works just fine for me, because now I only need the 1 removal spell. Magma Quake doesn't hit the opponent's flyer, but does hit Luminarch Aspirant. Okay. Well, I think answering Luminarch Aspirant is the plan. So we're going to take the only card that can do that. Play a land. I can Magma Quake for 2 if I play this Double Vision, which kind of hurts. And I'm also 1 mana short of Magma Quake to kill the Luminarch Aspirant into Hieroglyphic Illumination. Okay. That's probably fine, we're gonna pretend. We're gonna pretend that this is fine. And that we're not just gonna die to the shale? Shale. We're gonna pretend that's not just gonna kill us. I guess I could have done this for 4 to kill the Luminarch Aspirant if they have a pump. but I think if they got a pump spell, it's probably going to kill us on the shale anyway. If they play another creature here, I probably have to cycle Hieroglyphic Illumination. They don't, so I think I can hold on to it. Cold Steel Heart is very bad. Alright, let's play Double Vision. I'm at 2 life. I can afford to go shields down here. They're only doing 1 damage. And haven't played anything. So basically nothing could possibly go wrong here. Okay, Cast Out kills me. So that's bad. Yeah, I don't think I could have won that, not casting all the spells. I'm so low on resources.